Hello and welcome back to the first part of the second season where we go deeper into Kubernetes security. I'm Saeed, a DevOps engineer and a certified Kubernetes enthusiast. You can find me right here on this YouTube channel. Follow me on X at SaeedF0 and LinkedIn as Saeed. All of the links will be down below. So here in this question, we're being asked to look at this Omni namespace. Right. Oh, and we've got this pod right here. So this pod, assuming it's talking about this pod, because it's the only pod in the namespace, this pod's been created with more permissions than it needs. It allows read access in the directory X, causing an internal site to be accessed publicly. That's wrong. To check this, click on the button site above the terminal and add internal to the end of the URL. So here's site. Cool. So we've got an nginx issue, which is fine. So, oh, let's take that back. Let's get that again. We'll run it back. Cool. Yeah, this is the page that should be restricted. Cool. Use the below recommendations to fix this. It's telling us to use Apparmor, the Apparmor profile created in this given path to restrict the internal access. Cool. So let's quickly have a little look at that Apparmor profile and see what's going on. So the Apparmor profile is called restricted front end. It is a deny. Yeah, and here we can see the rule that where it should deny the internal page from being accessed. Right. So what we need to do initially is we need to pass this profile through using the apparmor underscore parser command and specify that the location of the profile. Before we do that, actually, let's have a little look. Let's run a little test to see if the profile has been loaded, and we can do that with this command apparmor hyphen status, and we could grep for the name. Or before we do that, let's get the name of the profile. The name of the profile. Let's copy that. Oh, let's copy the name of the profile. I think it's already copied it. Cool. So let's do AA hyphen status. Let's look at all of the profiles that have been loaded. Or so yeah, there's 19 profiles that are in enforce mode and 56 profiles have been loaded. Sweet. So let's do the same but grep for that profile name. And we can see it's not been passed. So we're gonna run this command here, apparmor underscore parser with a hyphen Q. And we're gonna provide it with the location, so the file in which the profile has been defined. Cool, that's that. And just as a plus one, you'd most probably be doing this in the node that is specified in the question. So yeah, be sure to SSH into the required node. So yeah, when we run that AA status, AA hyphen status and grep for the restricted or grep for the profile, then because of course we've passed it through, right, it will now be loaded. Sweet. So now that that's ready, we're going to pull down the manifest or the configuration of that pod, get an omni, and then we're going to get the pod first, and then it was called front end site, and we'll just pull that down locally. Again, we're following that convention of one underscore the resource.yaml because in the exam you may need to flag a question and come back to it later. So if you've already created the manifest for it, it'll be good to just label it as such. So let's go into Apparmor within the documentation. And again, yeah, here we go. So we can see that Apparmor is defined or specified within the pod manifest under metadata and under annotations. So we'll just copy that over and head back into that. We know it's metadata. We've got label on the same level as label, and we'll just paste that in there. Another important point to catch on is that when defining the Apparmor under annotations, that we get the container name here and the profile name. Can easily be uh, left out a lot of the time, and for that reason you may get some errors. So yeah, based on your pod container you want to apply it to, for us the name is nginx. We'll paste that in there, and then if you remember, we need to get the profile name, not the path in which the profile is, but the name of the profile. In our case, it's restricted hyphen front end. Cool. Localhost, we'll remove that. Dummy profile, we'll paste that in there. Sweet. So here, that first part has been done. There are several service accounts created in the Omni namespace. Let's have a look at that. Yep, there are a number of different service accounts, right? Apply the principle of least privilege and use the service account with the minimum privileges, excluding the default service account. So we're gonna check to see and describe each in each service account. So let's start with maybe FE. Oh, of course not. So we need to check the roles that the service accounts are bound to. So yeah, we could just describe the role binding, right? OYAML in the namespace Omni. This is my strategy for looking at it. And then we just want to grep that service account name. Oh, where have we gone wrong here? Because we can't describe OYAML, that's it. So yeah, it's perhaps show what's ahead of it. So, yeah, the role that it's associated to is FE. That's fine. And let's look for that front end. It's associated to a role called front end. Yep. And then there was one more, which was the front end default, because we're told to ignore the default. So that one isn't associated to any roles, which technically would make it the one service account out of the three that is got the least privileges, would be that service account. Cool. So here it says once the pod is recreated with the correct service account. Okay, so it wants us to apply that service account or associate that service account to the pod. So we'll go back to that pod manifest and we just hit service account. There you go. And we just paste that front end default. Front end default. I wouldn't usually type it out generally in the exam or anywhere else. I'd just paste it after copying it. So let's go ahead and delete that pod first. Yep. Oh, we could do it that way as well, but we'll just delete the pod the way you'd conventionally do it. Which reminds me, I haven't set those variables, which we will in just a moment. Grace period 0. Cool, that's deleted. So now we just recreate based on our specification. And let's go ahead and describe that. So we've got a pod named front end site in the namespace omni service account associated is front end default. We've got an annotation which is associated to the container nginx, which is of course our container, right? Nginx, and it's applying the profile restricted front end, and that pod should be running. So get pods in the omni namespace. Yeah, sweet. So does it validate? Let's see. So the correct service account has been used. Obsolete service accounts deleted. We haven't deleted those service accounts. So let's go and look at those service accounts. And we're just going to go ahead and delete the obsolete, quote unquote, obsolete service accounts in the Omni namespace. And that was FE and front end. Lovely. Cool. That's good. Now let's have a little look at that internal site again. Let's copy that, and that should give us, oh, we're still able to see it. So let's find out why. Let's find out why. Let's find out why. So the annotations, nginx, localhost restricted front end. Okay. Ah, because I didn't refresh it, of course. Yeah, so now that when we refreshed it, we could see that it is no longer showing us that internal site. So yeah, that was a rookie move. But yeah, that's that, and that satisfies all of the conditions that we could see here. Again, in the exam, you wouldn't be able to test it against any bullet points like we're being shown here. So it's important that you run your own validations within the exam. But that being said, the exam is you against the clock, and it's really difficult to do that. So it's important to try and master the craft before going into the exam, and literally just have a one-on-one with the clock as opposed to a one-on-one with your code. So yeah, that's just another bonus point there. On to the next one.